the ratio is, I think, probably 1% more than that.
And would all mobile web apps need to go into cloud, or is there any checklist as to have to understand? If all this is there, then only I need to use cloud computing for my app.
I think the only okay, as I was mentioning some time back, a web application, the reason when you would go for it is that you have something to collaborate, something to be able to work with multiple people, not with just one person's productivity app. And if you look at it that way, pretty much every application has a multi-people use case. Even if you say it's a simple note-taking application which allows me to take notes and set myself reminders about buying vegetables, there is still a use case that I need to share that information with someone like my family or my wife or whatever else, so that she can track about what vegetables that we need to buy.
So suppose there are two websites and they want to match up, right? If they are on different cloud, will that be a challenge or is it okay?
Okay, at least, okay, so majority of the websites today, okay, to come to the technology bit of it, the majority of the popular web applications today have some set of API interface given for other people to be able to leverage on the information, for other people to mesh up with those codes. What I'm suggesting here is the more interesting use case is when you mesh up the data on the internet with the data on the mobile, and you can then create a very, very compelling or interesting application, so to say. So post Facebook application, downloadable application on mobile, instead of just showing you your Facebook friends, if it can allow you to go viral by inviting friends from your phone book, that has a much more potential of growth than just using the cloud data which is already existing onto the Facebook server. Right. So we come to the favorite part. I was told we have around 70% of developers here. So okay, we'll talk about technology. So what are technologies that we use in developing mobile web applications? I mean, there are many ways you can achieve this. Obviously, the most popular one or the most ancient one is to develop it using any of the native technologies or Java-based. So, for example, Symbian C++, or iPhone's Objective-C, or Android's native Java, or BlackBerry Java, or the simple J2ME. I mean, these technologies have been existing for, at least not apart from iPhone and Android, for almost a decade now. This is usually the geek's choice. If you ask any geek what does he want to develop an application in, he would always say native. The reason why it happens, it's a simple reason as we have in computer industry. It allows you to have a great amount of flexibility in terms of what you can do with the application, even if it's a web application, what all you can do with the web application. It allows us to access everything from the device, at least everything that is supported by the manufacturer to be accessed from the device. I mean, I know that some of you might say, no, the JSRs are too complicated, manufacturers don't implement JSRs completely and all those things. So even after that, we get not as much as possible device support from a native technology than from a non-native technology. Obviously the cons. One thing is if you go to native, it obviously makes it that much difficult to port it across different handsets seamlessly, because if you have built your application for one handset using its core native technologies, it may not port seamlessly across to the another handset, and that's very simple. UI, of course, it depends. I mean, it depends on the UI designer. It depends on the technology that you use yourself. But since a lot of it is left to the developer itself, it may turn out. I mean, I know in early days, one of the biggest concerns about the downloadable applications on the stores like Fandango or GetJa was that the UI would suck, because they were mainly done by geeks, and the geeks don't care so much about UI. They more care about the functionality that our application provides. The UI would suck big time. And it obviously it's not very easy to code for a developer point of view. It takes its own sweet time. I think the average cycle time for a web application or a Web 2.0 application is around 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. And average cycle time for a downloadable mobile application which is developed in native technologies is something like 6 months. So the disparity is just too huge. What else do we have options available here, right? If you are the dummy kind, where just starting out, develop a mobile application, then you should go for a web runtime. There are plenty of them available. Again, for every individual technology, we have different web runtime available. Now everybody is coming up with one. So you have WebOS, that Palm has native OS itself written in the, for web technology. You have WRT from Nokia, you have Flashlight, you have the one which is coming from Samsung. Right now you have Bondi. There are plenty of those web runtimes. The good part about it is it's extremely easy to code. If you're just starting out, you just want to explore how the mobile web applications look like, they can get you up and running like this. But the UI is usually also good because they usually provide you with some sort of a pre-built components that you can integrate into your system and make the UI look interesting enough. There obviously there is plenty of support because these are usually supported by handset manufacturers. They allow you to create those forums. I think Nokia has one such great forum. From Apple has a decent forum. Windows Mobile has a decent forum. What is not working for them? Obviously, because it's sort of an abstracted layer on top of the native layer, they usually don't expose all the native functionality to the application developer. The portability is again an issue in this particular scenario because currently we are coming up with like tens of specifications. I mean, every handset manufacturer coming up with its own web runtime is creating some sort of differentiation or some sort of porting headache amongst themselves itself. And obviously the performance of because and it's similar to how we had in the early PC days, performance of a web application wasn't as good as the performance of a native application. So I think in early days something like Google Docs wasn't a reality because it would just perform too badly. While as today Google Docs is much better compared to a downloadable Microsoft Word onto your PC. So what is the other alternative? I mean, again, this is a little bit of a marketing, so you pardon me for doing that, but at least this is what I believe in. So I said this is a forum for me to explore what I do. So if you want to go for a uber cool sort of experience in terms of developing mobile applications, you should go for something like Mobitop. I mean, currently it's sort of done by us and not many people know about it, but yes, this is what we do. What we did was we tried to combine these two disparities. We said, okay, at one end you have native technologies which are really powerful, you can do pretty much everything, and other end you have web technologies which are really easy but not so much powerful. Can we have something in between which is easy to code at the same time, very easy, gives you the deepest level of device support, and that's what we do. So you can have pretty much best of both worlds, at least that's what we claim. Currently, there are some 20 publishers who use that particular system, and I want to invite you all somehow to look at it and suggest us some cool applications. Currently it's a paid licensing version, so if you guys are able to suggest to us some cool applications, we are willing to give you a free license to be able to develop an application using this particular bit. Mobitop, you can visualize it as a web runtime which has APIs to access all the native device functionality, at least from the device that supports it. It's ported across to different device operating systems or runtimes ourselves, so it works across Symbian, Java 2ME, Windows Mobile and iPhone so far. So you can write one application which will work then across different. So the porting part is taken care by us. The UI bit, we allow you to develop applications using HTML, JavaScript, so you can write a cool UI by just taking some code snippets from the internet. And we give you APIs to access handset functionality, so you can then collaborate using SMS, phone book, location, pictures, Bluetooth, whatever.
So it consists of